Hello, early friends! Today I have a very special video for you. Camp NaNoWriMo, which is the April version of National Novel Writing Month of November, is taking place in a couple of days. And I recently got a question that kind of got me thinking, and I thought, you know what, let's make a little bit of a double video. I'm gonna answer a question, and this is also a pseudo pep talk for everyone out there about to go into this great challenge that is National Novel Writing Month. So, what am I talking about today? Well, I recently got a question, and I get this question all the time, to be entirely honest. It happens, and it is something that a lot of people worried about, and I used to worry about it myself. And the question went something along the lines of, "Hey Max, I want to write, but I don't have any talent." Now, those of you who've been following my blog know, as a matter of fact, that I have a series called The Daily Writer Positivity, and there is one instance of the positivity that I've repeated, like, 3 or 4 times over the course of like 300 posts, and it's a positivity that goes something along like this, okay? If you don't think you have any talent, write anyway. Why? Because as long as you keep writing, you will be better than anyone who claims to have talent, but doesn't write. Now, some of you may be asking yourselves, Max, do you actually believe this? And I do, I actually honestly do. And my thing is this, okay? Because people talk about these amorphous things like talent, and they never stop to define them, and I find that the people that I've known who have been called talented, this is always an external source. Nobody believes they are talented. If someone believes that someone else told them they were talented. And ultimately, talent is merely displaying the proficiency to do something. And I beg to ask the question, do you need to show proficiency in something in order to do it? Because I've heard all of my life that I don't look like a writer, so does that make me any less likely to create art and to create stories and to share them with the world? I don't think so. So you think you don't have talent. No one in your life has looked at you and said, you show the proficiency to create writing, to write and to tell stories. So what? Go out and create art anyway. Go out and write and tell stories and create the stories only you can make. I don't have a single ounce of talent in me. No one ever looked at me and said, you show the proficiency to tell stories. And I went out and I did it anyway. Again, if you don't think you have any talent, go write anyway. People underestimate hard work. And this is mildly related to this, and I get this question all the time as well. I get questions from people, and they're looking for a magical solution. They think that there's a secret to writing and to telling stories that authors are hiding, and there's not. Writing, like any other medium or craft or discipline, boils down to a lot of hard work. And people underestimate hard work. People underestimate, getting up, doing what you're supposed to do at one particular time, getting it done, and doing that every day. People underestimate that. And seriously, this discipline is more important than showing the proficiency to do anything. And again, people look at talent and they think that it is the end-all to everything, and as someone who took a lot of creative writing courses in college, and I met a lot of writers, we're talking hundreds of writers here, okay? I met tons of them, and every one of those who had talent seldom acted on it. And even I, as a younger writer, I felt really distressed and really worried because no one had ever told me that I showed the proficiency to write, and thus I thought that I had no talent. And for the longest time, I felt that this was the barrier keeping me from being one of the big dogs, the big writers, the great writers that people relate to and read their stuff. And I was worried for a while, and I kept seeing these people who claimed to have talent, who people told them they were good writers, but they didn't act on it. They didn't put the hard work in, and I realized, well, like, if I sit down and I make the habit and I write and I write and I write and I tell stories and I revise them and I clean them up and I share them with the world, how am I worse of a writer than the guy who has talent but has never produced anything? And I talk with my other friends who created visual media and music, and we keep coming up with this false fallacy in culture that the idea that talent is the end-all to everything, and it's not. Hard work, dedication, discipline, and passion trumps talent anytime. Again, I know that I keep coming back to this, but I do mean it. People sometimes reach out looking for magical solutions, looking for quick fixes, and at least for writing, I don't think there are any. Ultimately, for writing, the act of telling a story and sharing it with the world is ultimately a lot of hard work. A lot of sitting down to write, fighting against the own doubts in the back of your mind, your fear and your doubts and your hesitation, battling those, defeating them every day, and repeating the same cycle again the next day. That is ultimately the act of writing. It is a lot of hard work, but the magical thing here, the beautiful thing within this realization is that you can do that. Because ultimately, there is no secret. To write a story, to become a writer, to become an author, it's ultimately a lot of hard work. And I feel this is a good thing, because in my time of need, when I felt like I would never become a writer because I was not born with the talent and I lack the prerequisite to unlock this class and this ability to be able to become this, I realized that the key to all of that was simply just hard work. There is no barrier of entry. There is no need to ask for permission. All you need to do to get started on this journey, to become the person you really want to be, is to start. I hope that helps. I actually do hope this video has helped, and if anything, I've given you another point of view. I find that I get a lot of messages from younger authors, primarily younger authors, because everyone kind of feels like this at some point, and they feel worried because they don't think they have talent. And I always reply to them, good, I don't have any either. But yeah, I hope this video helped. Really, ultimately, writing is a lot about hard work, and a lot about sitting down and, as I've said in the past, writing recklessly. Writing regardless of the fear and the doubt in the back of your head, because those fear and doubts are always going to be there. There are plenty of quotes from famous authors who say that they are most terrified the moment they sit down to write. And that fear really never goes away, because it's always the act of fighting against your own fears and your own doubts. And every day you gotta defeat those monsters. And every day you gotta step over their corpses and start typing. So go out and make art. Go out and write. Write recklessly, write without fear, and seek to create the stuff only you, and only you, can make. I hope this helps. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and subscribe if you would like more. And if you would like even more writing advice, positivity, and prompts, you can head over to my official writing blog over at maxkieran.tumblr.com. Thank you for watching. Write recklessly, writerly friends, and seek to achieve the things only you can achieve. I will be seeing you soon. Mwah! Welcome back to Max's editorial, just a really quick editorial at the end of this video. I hope that the video really did help. It's one of those videos I've been meaning to talk about for ages, and I swear, every time I post that writer positivity, someone with talent yells at me. But you know, I mean, that's kind of true though, right? It's like, if you don't act on your abilities, you might as well not have the abilities. And you know, the story that I said was, it's absolutely my story, because, I felt that I didn't have the talent to achieve these things, and then I realized that it wasn't about talent. It's really never about talent. It's always about hard work, because there is no, easy way to become a writer. It's ultimately sitting down, same time every day, probably, or it's just sitting down all the time to write and telling a story. Ultimately, that's really the way there. I hope that this video really did help, and I hope that you don't mind the new casual format. This is kind of the way my videos are going to be throughout April, because I'm going to be also doing vlogs and also going to be writing 4,000 words a day. So, I hope that you don't mind the format. And I forgot to mention, if you have writing questions, leave them in the comments. I'm going to be answering a lot of questions over the course of April in Camp NaNoWriMo, so feel free to send questions my way. With that being said though, thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you soon. Mwah!